Hey, good afternoon again. Hi, guys. Back up here on the stand. All right, so here. All right, so I wanted to touch base with you guys. I built this here, 6-8 weeks ago. Just now getting around to actually shooting a video with that. So turn the AC up enough for it to kick off, at least down on low. All right, so MRF454s by HG. Very surprising little transistors. I've had several people that's asked me about them. About 5 months ago, I started actually playing with these, and a good friend of mine wanted to experiment, so he sat down and did all the groundwork or legwork, I should say, built a 2-pill, and had some problems getting it running. Brought it over here. He lives just out of state, so he's only about an hour and a half, 2 hours of drive time away. Brought it down. We got to playing with it a little bit. Found that it was very impressive. So, after we got it tuned out, which took maybe 20 minutes, got it all squared away. He took the information, ran with it. Sit down. He built a 4-pill. Asked me a few questions about it as well. Very, very happy as far as on the overall. So I sat down and decided to go ahead and build a couple myself. And again, like I said, had really, really good luck with them. Very happy as far as with the output and the way these things tune out. So that's kind of where we're at today, is just kind of show you a little bit here. One of the other things that we want to talk about, not just about the HG454s, but now as a builder, I don't know how many of you have noticed here lately where there's a shortage in some of the different parts and components that we've been dealing with. So that's another reason why we've been trying to find alternate methods. One of which, and one of the biggest things right now that is becoming more and more of an increase of issues, is this little guy right here. Now then, this is an SMD microchip is what this is. There again, there's been other videos out there that's showed some of them, and there's multiple different variations of these, but these have been used for years and years as far as in HF amplifiers and what have you. So it's finding the right mix and the right versions. Anyways, this is 1000 puff, essentially what we've been using as far as metal clads here. These are actually ceramic capacitors. Now what's really nice is what I have seen difference-wise with these versus even the metal clads. Been very, very impressed as far as on the output, very impressed on the tune. So that's one of the things that we want to show you. Now, at the time that I put this one together, since then, there's been some other changes, and that goes into that other 4-pill board that I showed earlier. I've been doing some other experiments as well. We've got our capacitor here from the collector to ground. Now these are regular silver dip micas, which I've got thousands and thousands of the silver dip micas. So I'm not in a short supply by no means, but even with that in mind, I've been playing around with even those. Found some that will work very, very well and is well suited for the application that we're using. So so the 4-pill that I've got, hopefully coming up, hopefully before the end of this next month coming up, which shouldn't be too long, it has the SMD capacitors essentially throughout all the primary build of it. So that was one of the things that I did. Now, another thing that I did was we went ahead and strapped the power instead of going to the back of the transformer. Obviously, this is that really small case, so very compact, very, very compact. But one of the things is we've actually got it strapped as far as free voltage right to the pills on the front. So, that way we've got adequate supply. Another thing too, if you go by the Motorola handbook, you actually should have your direct current going right to the transistor itself and not actually using the influx of the voltage going through the transformer, which in some cases I've seen where these transformers aren't always soldered real good depending on what brand or what versions you get. I've bought some over the years from various companies, and they're not soldered real well. So trying to draw through the brass tubes that they have in these sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge. So, I've talked to some other different builders, and they've ran into that same situation. So again, we all go back and we all check our transformers before we ever wire them up. But to alleviate any kind of potential issues or problems or anything like that, another nice thing about going ahead and doing it this way is you actually have a little less RF leakage. From what I've seen, you have a little less RF leakage. You'll notice it more when the top of the case is off than anything else. So that's another reason. But in this particular application, the main reason is, we're very, very limited on space. So we've got our feedbacks in there. You can see on the input, we did the same thing on the input. And I have beat the snot out of this thing. And what's kind of nice is I'll get the FLIR gun out, and I'll actually show you as far as on the stress. From what I've noticed, there's actually less stress on these too. That's really impressive too. So anyhow, like I said, just a nice little box. This is one I've had this case for a while, and somewhere along the lines wound up getting a dent. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, there you go. But anyways, it's a new build, but the case has got a little bit of a dent. So if somebody decides they actually come in here and they want to purchase it, I'll take a little bit off for the ding. But otherwise, this is a new build. Hey, good afternoon, Squirrel. So anyways, kind of walking through it as well. Let me go ahead and also say, instead of a 5 amp relay, I've been using these now for about 4 years. These are actually an 8 amp relay. They've actually got a smaller profile, but they're vacuum sealed. So you don't have to worry about any kind of internal spark or arc or anything like that. So very, very hardy isn't that awful? Relay, very hardy relay. Obviously, you can see that I went overkill as far as on the output tune capacitor. This was another thing that has been incredibly hard to get a hold of here lately. So I went through the manufacturer and I ordered a couple hundred of them. So, this is what I use out of, and then whenever it's done, then I grab out of my spare and fill those back up. So I'm sitting pretty good on those for right at the moment, but yeah, it's getting harder and harder in this hobby to find some of the components. It's the reason why I'm looking for alternate parts to be able to continue the builds, just like some of the others are. Hey, good afternoon. How you doing, Bruce? Believe it or not, I have not forgot about you, but I did finally find, I've looked for a month and found the other roll. I think I've still got your list. Like I said, I haven't forgot you, big guy. I do have some stuff to go ahead and make your connectors or make up your jumpers, but I do have to make an alteration to the specialized connectors that I have for the RG400. I'm either going to have to take them to work, or I'm going to have to actually sit down if I can find a place to set it up. I've already bought a lathe for the shop, but I've got to get, well, you've been over here before, Bruce. As you well know, I'm very, very limited on space in here, so putting a small bench lathe in here is at a premium as far as space confinement. But anyhow, let me set this up here and we'll get things turned on, and I'll get all the other goodies set up. Let you look at the amplifier here while we're changing out slugs and moving things around. I need to take and clean all the slugs and everything too, because it's been a while. All right, so let's do that. Make numbers nice and easy. I'm going to put a 1,000-watt slug in our peak and a 500-watt in our RMS. So let me go ahead and show you guys the output. We've got a nice high output 92 millimeter fan in here. Hey, good evening. Good afternoon, bud. We're almost done here. There we go. All right, so I'll still use the same radio. We're actually running at 14 volts. This one I'm going to be running off my 100 amp power supply, so just running it at 14 volts. Show the input here. Hello, audio. Audio. Barely wait. Output tune, going back to 5,000 dummy load. Hello, 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 audio. Almost nothing, a tenth of a watt reflow. All right, so 1,000-watt slug in our peak position. Get that glare off of there. All right, so 1,000-watt slug. Come on, focus. Hello, audio. So right at 500-watt peak is what we're looking at for the, for that RMS. I'm just using my Cobra 29. Use here on the workbench. 500-watt slug in RMS position. Focus. Audio. Audio. 190 watts, or I'm sorry, RMS. So 190 bird, that's not bad. Like I said, that's just using, basic radio drag, I'm only putting about, 8 to 10 watts of bird going into it. But, alrighty guys, like I said, just wanted to touch base with you on that and show you, a little bit there. The only other thing that I told you real quick, get this thing fired up. Should still be charged. Just gonna hold it longer. Alright, let me set you up here on the camera. Said, I know that's kind of a new thing, but several people have even been asking me. I've got a couple of other builders that have been looking for specific part numbers on those. So some of them that I work well with, I've given them the part numbers, let them see what they think. All right, so right now we've got this about a 75-watt dead key. Obviously, you're going to be able to see where all the heat is, but as we zero down, see if I can get that all into the shop here. Sometimes it's a little difficult. See it clear. So, hello, 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 audio. Everything's still staying the same. I'm beat it down right on the actual ceramic capacitor. $83.6. So, like I said, everything shows up very hot on the FLIR, but when you actually get down to it, hello, 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 audio, audio, audio. There's 87. We've got more heat buildup. Hello, 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 audio, audio. The transformer's running actually hotter than the actual capacitor does. Now we're up to 92. Transformer itself. Audio. About 137, 131. Yeah, like I said, just wanted to kind of show you guys, some of the new components and what have you. But I haven't tried these in anything larger than 1 pill, 2 pill, and 4 pill configurations. But it's able to go ahead and give us more breathing room. The other nice thing is the availability of the parts are there versus the other. Now these SMT capacitors I'm using, they're actually rated for 5,000 volts. Besides the physical size of them, 5,000 volts, you're going to be able to handle quite a bit on there, and I think they're going to be able to handle a lot of stress. You do have to remember, since it is an SMT part, if you choose to try these, make sure that you mount them as flush as you can against the actual transformer. The reason why is because they require something in order to go ahead and draw the heat out of. And as minuscule as what it is, even the solder and the copper behind there actually acts as an inductor to wick away the heat from the actual part. And the rest of it can handle a lot more abuse than typically the ceramic just in an open format. Some people think that they have to have air all the way around that particular part. Those are not built specifically for that reason. They're actually built to be surface mounts. So bear that in mind for anybody that actually does try to use those. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Like I said, just wanted to pop in here real quick with this video. We've got a customer that just walked in, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of them. And then we're going to go over to the other build that I've got coming up, which is the 600 amp power supply. We're going to try to get it finished up yet today. So everybody take care. We'll be back later on this afternoon.